Welcome to Getting Dirty Live with Brian Douglas, broadcasting from the Midwest Racing Radio Network and the Five Wives Vodka Studios in Fargo, North Dakota, on this local station and around the world across the internet on the Midwest Racing Radio Network website. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the only host who has ever had the need for speed more than once, Brian Douglas.
Hey everybody, good day and welcome to Midwest Racing Radio's Getting Dirty Live. I'm Brian Douglas. We got some special guests for you on this show. The first one coming up after the commercial break is David Gravel. David Gravel, racing in the World of Outlaws, just won his third career World of Outlaws A-Main win. David will be with us on the phone in just a few moments, so stay tuned. We got a whole lot more coming for you right here on the Midwest Racing Radio Network.
This is the Midwest Racing Radio Network.
Extended lubricant, taking fuel performance to a new level. With the Gas Extender Plus Ethanol and Diesel Extender Plus Algae treatment, Extended has your engine covered. The Gas Extender Plus Ethanol treatment is an octane booster that also improves mileage. 1 ounce treats 5 gallons, making it a must-have for your gas-burning toys. The Diesel Extender Plus Algae treatment lubricates cylinders while cleaning and conditioning your fuel system. 1 ounce treats 10 gallons is a great way for your fleet to maintain and save money in one easy step. Worried about your sales force having to pioneer a new product? Well, don't be, because we have a plan to drive traffic to your store. Michael Vatter's Black Stallion, Iron Warrior, and Higher Education sport the extended decals, allowing you to penetrate this powerful market. Also, in 2013, Extended is teaming up with Pursuit Channel's 38 million viewers as they sponsor a block of high-quality outdoor programming on Dish and DirecTV. So climb on board and join the Extended team so you can offer this amazing product to your customer base today.
When it's energy you need and you need it fast, try Mad Croc Energy. Loaded with vitamin B to help give you the endurance you need. It comes in 9 awesome varieties, including sugar-free Mad Croc Energy drink for those who don't want the calories or carbs, but want all the taste. Don't forget, Mad Croc Energy isn't just your everyday energy drink. Try it. It'll pick you back up and get you back in the race in as fast as 10 minutes. Don't forget, Mad Croc Energy is great for those adult-only events. Go to our website at madcroc.com and look over our signature recipes. Support the one energy drink that supports grassroots motorsports teams across the country. That's Mad Croc Energy. Mad Croc Energy is proudly made in the USA with natural cane sugar. Just when you thought it was safe to talk racing on internet radio.
Getting Dirty Live.
He said, well, I looked at a sponsor, and I just needed somebody to help me with my tires. And I just said, you're willing to talk to somebody about putting together a package for you, and all you want is tire money? I mean, come on now. You're just basically embarrassed your sponsor. The problem was they did not want to listen to me. They were willing to give me a card, a shirt, a truck. They were willing to give me everything, but they wouldn't listen to me. So I can tell you guys this. It was like dealing with a high-maintenance blonde that I just didn't really want to deal with. I mean, she's pretty to look at, but I'll say, it ain't going to happen. You know what I mean? Because it's just not, it just didn't interest me at all.
If you think this is fun, tune in every Thursday night at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, right here on the Midwest Racing Radio Network, where we're getting dirty live.
This is the Midwest Racing Radio Network.
23 laps complete, 17 laps to go. Kyle Hurst leading it, David Gravel second, Joey Saldana third. They are nose to tail down the front straightaway. Gravel to the outside in 1 and 2, drives by Kyle Hurst, new leader David Gravel into turn 3. Hurst gets to the bottom first out of turn 4, but David Gravel will lead lap number 25. 2 to go for David Gravel. Kading around the outside of Joey Saldana. Kading now into third. Saldana right back at him down low on a turn 2, but Kading gets by his teammate Kyle Hurst. Tim Kading is second, but he's running out of time. The white flag is waving for David Gravel. Tim Kading has come from 12th up to second, but not enough time. David Gravel down the backstretch for the final time. Checkered flag set to wave at the Merced Speedway, and it will wave on David Gravel. Second will go to Tim Kading. Kyle Hurst third, Joey Saldana fourth, and Paul McMahon in fifth.
You're on Getting Dirty Live. I'm Brian Douglas, and with me on the phone right now is World of Outlaws driver David Gravel. David, wow, the Merced was good to you.
It was a great night, qualifying first and get a new track record and get into the dash, and starting 5th in the feature, and was patient, and they had a little mishap up front, and everything worked my way.
It's just like in World of Outlaws. Anything can happen, and usually does, and that's why why that open wheel is such a big fan favorite?
Yeah, it's real exciting, and you got to be up on the wheel because of the short distances, but you never know what's going to happen. Lap cars, small tracks, dirt racing, it's just the way it is, and just people love it. And
looking through your bio and stuff, I mean, you go back to back to when I was racing late models up here in Fargo. 1999 and a quarter midget. Something I've always wanted to do. I've gotten a little bit of seat time myself personally in a regular midget, in the USAC Western midget, and a little bit with the family stuff in the sprint cars. But sprint cars since basically 2008. In that time, is there any one highlight that stands out?
Probably definitely my Knoxville Nationals prelim win last year is probably my biggest win, and something that I'll never forget. Just a crazy night all in all, and just something I'll never forget ever.
Last year you saw filling time with Bill Rose, and Bill's a class act, his fan favorite also up here in North Dakota, Minnesota, southern Manitoba, and I'm sure you'd agree as you stomped up and down this path several times. Tell me what it was like racing for Bill Rose.
It's kind of a freak deal that he got injured, and I got the opportunity to drive his car, and going into it, there wasn't too many expectations, and just go out and have some fun. And we actually had some success in the car, and got a few podiums and some top fives at tracks I've never been to. And with him letting me drive his car, gave me the opportunity to run all the Outlaw shows and run for points. So it worked out great, and everything happened for a reason, and I can't thank him enough for giving me the opportunity to race for him for about 15 shows, and it was a great year. You
did great. You won at I-94 in Fergus Falls. It's just about an hour down the highway from me. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to be there that night. I got stuck up at River City Speedway. I-94 is kind of a special track. It's a lot more different than most tracks around here, where you're racing down in a bowl and the crowd's looking down on you. What did you think about racing in that type of atmosphere?
I-94 is a pretty typical sprint car track, kind of like Paducah, Kentucky, with maybe some less banking, but it's a nice shape, nice size, not too big, not too small, and obviously I enjoyed being there. Tell me about the way that things are going for you this year. Tell me a little bit about the ride and the sponsorships this year in the World of Outlaws. I'm driving the 59 Phoenix racing car for Tom and Sherry Lighting this year, and we just can't afford to go out west with that team, so I ran the Trophy Cup last year with Rod Tyner in this 83 car, and he didn't have a 410 motor, and I really wanted to race with him because we did well, and I just wanted to keep racing and not have a big downtime after Florida. So we actually had a guy, Frank Manafort with FMR Racing, who helped me out the previous year. He actually purchased us a brand new Kistler motor. So we shipped that motor out, and now we're out here racing California, and it's paid off so far.
If you had your choice of anywhere in the country, any series, no object, no snags, no politics, no sponsor worries, where would you go? Any one region, any one series?
For dirt racing and sprint car racing, I don't think there's anything other than the Outlaws, if that's what you're talking about. But obviously I'd love to try NASCAR or Formula One or something, but for a dirt series, hands down, would be the Outlaws.
David, you're not alone in that answer, because it was kind of funny that I asked Jack Hodenshield 2 years ago, right here in Fargo, and it wasn't even on the radio here. It was, at the time I was working in radio, but you know how it goes. You got your friends in every city that you go to, and people that know your operation, and, like to, and your fans and stuff. I asked Jack that, and he says, well, if I was younger, I'd like to do Formula One. It's not the Indy 500 anymore. Everybody says they want to try Formula One, and is there a special attraction to that?
Formula One is the highest and most technically advanced series there is. They travel the world. They spend hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars a year. They're just really a amazing machine, and it definitely seems like IndyCar racing here in America has definitely died down some. Definitely less cars, and it's just one of those things about racing. It seems to, kind of like Silver Crown racing and midget racing. It just seems to, start losing cars and, losing some attraction. So it's just one of those things. It sucks, but I wouldn't mind driving Indy 500 either, though.
Okay. Last year, you had I-94. The previous year, 2012, you were running in the University of Northern Ohio All-Star Circuit of Champions. Bring this back up because a lot of our stations and a lot of our listeners are from that Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota, Iowa, Wisconsin, southern Manitoba, and Ontario, that type of thing. But, the All-Stars are definitely not a lower level. They're just a different group of drivers. But you seem to pull a win at Red River Valley Co-op Speedway on the 410s out there. What was special with that race in 2012?
We didn't get a win for a while there, and, to get a win was just kind of like a big relief, it was just one of those things that we wanted to get so bad, and finally when we got it, we were just, weight lifted off our shoulders. That race went our way, started up front, and I believe we led every lap, and it was just another smooth night, and you got to take advantage when you start up front, because you never know when you're going to start up front again. So, the All-Stars is a good series. I did it for 3 or 4 years, racing with Blaney and Schaefer, and then, racing a lot in Ohio against those local guys, racing against the local guys in Pennsylvania. It's definitely a good series to go in, but, with the Outlaws, definitely travel a little bit more and get to see more tracks, and on a week-to-week basis, I think there's a little bit more competition with the Outlaws. But like I said, when you go to Ohio and Pennsylvania, it's as tough as anywhere there is.
Not to back you into a corner or anything, but if you had your 5 favorite tracks across the United States, on the continental United States, what would those top 5 be, not in any particular order, to keep you out of trouble here?
Yeah, no, that's fine. I love Knoxville's treated me well. Limaland has treated me also very well. I love Houston, just something about that place that I like. And then from there, it's kind of hard to pick. A lot of the tracks are fun when you run well, and when you don't run well, they're not very fun. But I love all the tracks I've won at. Fergus Falls is a good one to me. And I would say Talladega Short Track. Now,
you did a little bit of winter racing this year. What was with that, and how did that shake out for you?
Yeah, I went to Australia and drove the Victory Lane Race Gear V88 car. And I did, I believe, 5 races. I was there for 2 weeks, just quick in and out after Christmas and come back before Florida. And we got to do 1 week in a 360 racing, and then the rest was 410 at the Classic and stuff. And we got second in the 360, and one night we finished 6th or 7th at the King's Challenge. And then the Classic, we had some trouble, didn't qualify too well, and struggled in the first heat. And we actually was passed for the lead in the second heat, and we got into a guy, and they actually put me to the rear of the field after I got the lead. So it was an up and down Australia, but it was my best year yet, and I can't thank those guys enough for giving me a ride and keeping me sharp.
It seems like you got a great start to 2014, with the win at Merced. And tell me a little bit about the sponsor package that you're packing with the World of Outlaws this year in the 59 car.
In the 59 car, Tom Shearlining owned the car. We get a lot of product help from a lot of people. It's definitely a joint effort. I got to thank FMR Racing, Willwood Brakes, Simpson Racing Products, Butler Built Seats, Auto Electric, Maxim, Ryder Engines. There's a lot to help us out there. We've come a long way, I think, since the off season. I've tried to get us ready for the season as best we can, and brought some stuff from my team over to their team, and I think we're headed in the right direction. They only have 2 410 motors, but with this motor that I'm using out here, we're going to bring to the team also. So it's definitely looking up, and I think the future will be good.
As far as the World of Outlaws, it seems like it's an ultra-competitive environment. Yeah, there are secrets between teams, but there's also friendships. Do you have any special business/personal relationships as far as racing-type relationships, good friends that you've made along the way?
Definitely my past crew chiefs, Tyler Swank and Rob Hart. Those are 2 guys that I would definitely call my good friends. Really other than that, a lot of the Outlaw guys, I wouldn't say I'm too close with. Definitely get along with Jason Sides pretty well. Definitely get along with, Dale Blaney, even though he's not an Outlaw, but I would call Dale one of my best friends out there. And Paul McMahon and probably Darren Pittman, just from running the All-Stars with them, getting to race with them a lot. I got to know those guys pretty well, too.
Now, last year was the first year on basically what we would call a unified tire rule, where a lot of sanctions followed World Racing Group's lead in the sprint car category, just like ASCS, and all that. They all ran one particular group of tires. Has that helped racing, or do you think it's been detrimental?
I wasn't around when there was open tire rule and all that, but I know competition makes the companies build better products, and when just one company builds tires, quality control is sometimes a problem because, they have to run their tires. But it does help when, if you race Attica every week, you're running the same tires that the Outlaws do. So when the Outlaws come in town, you don't have to buy a bunch of new tires. So I think it helps the local guys because, one, they could practice and race with the tires the Outlaws run when they come in town, and they don't have to buy new stuff when they come in town also. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. The old school guys like some tire competition, but it's all preference.
Last year you fell into illness after the Knoxville Nationals last year. We missed seeing you up here in Grand Forks. How many times do you run that facility up there, and are you looking forward to doing that again in 2014?
Yeah, I only raced there once last year, and that was in my car with the Outlaws, and it's definitely a cool place. It's definitely cut into the ground and small and high banked, and it's definitely action packed, that's for sure. Last time we qualified good, but had some problems in our heat race and all that, so I'm definitely looking forward to going back.
And I'm definitely sure that the fans would love to see you. Finish up one last thing. If you could change anything about the way the system runs or your system that you work under with, what would it be?
It's hard to say. I've never had the opportunity to have a high-dollar operation yet, but, if diesel fuel went down and everybody's pushing these motors to the limits, I know some teams are only run their motors from 6 to 7 to 8 nights and then getting them rebuilt because they're just on the ragged edge. So I would say, somehow keep the cost down a little bit with the motors, and if diesel fuel is cheaper, that would definitely help. But it's just tough nowadays. It's been paying the same since it has been back in the day. and everything has gone up, and it's definitely showing in the dirt ranks because it's just hard for the local or small book guy to do it anymore.
And on a final note, is this the last we're going to see of David Gravel in the taking that trophy home at the World of Outlaws, or is there a lot more left?
I've always won my races usually late in the year, and to win one early in the year I think is a great sign. And I'm definitely expecting to have my best year yet. We have some work to do in the 59 car, but everybody's new together. As long as we could get rolling in that car, I think we'll definitely be in victory lane more often, and I'm definitely looking forward to the future.
Anybody you want to thank before we go to commercial break?
I got to thank Rod Tyner for giving me the ride out here, Tom and Sherry Lighting for giving me an opportunity to drive their car this year, and Frank Manafort for buying us a brand new motor, and everybody else that helps out and pitches in. I couldn't do it without them.
All right, this is David Gravel, driver of the 59 now in the World of Outlaws Series, currently in another ride for the West Coast Swing. Thank you, David, for joining me. Again, this is the Midwest Racing Radio Network. You're on Getting Dirt Live. We'll be back after these commercial breaks.
This is the Midwest Racing Radio Network.
Logistics in today's competitive business environment has everyone looking for ways to increase savings, improve quality, and increase customer satisfaction. The logistics behind your freight transportation can impact these goals significantly. That's why you need to work with a logistics service provider that has strong, reliable resources. A company that can deliver your freight on time, intact, at competitive prices while keeping you informed along the way. DLS Worldwide is that company. They say it's your freight, your goals, with our resources. No matter if you build race cars, rear ends, distribute tires, oil, or build engines. By calling DLS Worldwide, you'll most likely save money, time, and stress. Believe me, that's something we all could use. Contact DLS Worldwide by calling Matt at 866-940-6321. Again, 866-940-6321. Need energy? Try Liquid Nitro Energy drinks with 3 awesome flavors and no bull. That's right, no bad aftertaste, no crash, no bull. We checked out all the other energy drinks, and Liquid Nitro has half the sugar of the other major brands' regular energy drinks. It has a great taste and no bull. You say nobody stocks Liquid Nitro in your area? Go to nitrobeverages.com and you'll find a complete list of distributors near you. To become a distributor, contact Randy at Dirt Tracking Southern Style for more information. Liquid Nitro is absolutely the most consistent energy drink on the market today. It's Liquid Nitro Regular, Liquid Nitro Herbal, Liquid Nitro Tropical Storm, and don't forget, we also make Liquid Nitro Energy Shooters. Real energy, and again, no bull. For everything you need to know about Liquid Nitro Energy, log on to nitrobeverages.com, or you can find us at your retailer or Speedway outlet.
Extended lubricant, taking fuel performance to a new level. With the Gas Extender Plus Ethanol and Diesel Extender Plus Algae treatment, Extended has your engine covered. The Gas Extender Plus Ethanol treatment is an octane booster that also improves mileage. 1 ounce treats 5 gallons, making it a must-have for your gas-burning toys. The Diesel Extender Plus Algae treatment lubricates cylinders while cleaning and conditioning your fuel system. 1 ounce treats 10 gallons is a great way for your fleets to maintain and save money in one easy step. Worried about your sales force having to pioneer a new product? Well, don't be, because we have a plan to drive traffic to your store. Michael Vatter's Black Stallion, Iron Warrior, and Higher Education sport the Extended decals, allowing you to penetrate this powerful market. Also, in 2013, Extended is teaming up with Pursuit Channel's 38 million viewers as they sponsor a block of high-quality outdoor programming on Dish and DirecTV. So climb on board and join the Extended team so you can offer this amazing product to your customer base today.
This is the Midwest Racing Radio Network.
And you're on the Midwest Racing Radio Network and Getting Dirty Live. This is Brian Douglas, and this segment we're going north of the border. How about this? Ward Imrie, Winnipeg, Manitoba. Ward, tell us a little bit about your experience.
Well, I grew up racing, came out of the road course on asphalt deal and running go-karts and pretty much every class, shifter karts, and got into some Formula car stuff for a bit. And then got into this dirt deal. Grew up always around the dirt stuff, and kind of was out of racing for a couple of years. Then we decided to get it modified, and I think we've been going. I think this will be our 6th year getting rolling in this deal now.
And now you own Imrie Demolition up in Winnipeg. You sponsored late models and sprint cars and what have you. Some very named drivers down here in the States, that come from Canada. And has that been something you've been always really close to, as those local drivers around your area, or was there a lot more to it than that?
Yeah, no, that's about it. It's a family business, and Dad started it, I don't know, over 40 years ago. And we've been sponsoring Mike Balkin for, I don't know, God knows, a long time, probably 25 years at least, maybe more. And so we always kind of, when I was young, went chasing around him and always sponsored, I don't know, usually about a half a dozen, probably different drivers almost every year for a long time. And so we've always been chasing it around. And when I wasn't racing, we'd be watching dirt racing, and now we're kind of back full swing of it again.
All right. Now, getting back into the racing around north of the border there, you're at your home track is Red River Co-op Speedway, and you got a family tied to that track.
Yeah, we've old Dad there. He pretty much helped build it there back. I forget how many years it was now. They just had their anniversary, 40 years maybe or something.
Yeah, it goes way back.
Yeah, it's a long ways, and we've been around it forever there, and we used to have our own little kind of press box or whatever you want to call it up on top of the hill there when Pete was still owned it, and so we spent a lot of time there when I was a kid, and it's been a part of growing up, and then kind of got away from the whole thing there. We got so heavy into into road course racing and trying to go the open wheel route that we were right out of the dirt deal for for a fair amount of time, probably 10 years, maybe sponsoring some guys, but I didn't go very much. But now we're back at it a few nights a week.
And I've turned some laps out at Winnipeg, and so some of my family members and everything else. That track is described as a 4/10 mile clay oval out in south of Winnipeg. You'd expect with all that land out there, and the last time I saw it was quite a while ago, but with all that land out there, you'd swear it was a half mile.
Yeah, it's a pretty decent size. It used to be really big. I remember when I was a kid, it was I think that was a half mile then, and it was big. They shortened it up a lot, and it's still a 4/10. So I guess that's how big it used to be. But it's a pretty good size. You get going pretty good on it.
It's one of the wider racetracks, not only with the sprint cars, but also with Wissota and with the late models. It's one of the wider tracks that you'll see all summer, north or south of the border, and there's just so much room to pass. It's almost reminiscent of Red River Valley Speedway, but not quite as long, and not quite as high in the banking.
Yeah, it's flatter and not quite as big. When it cleans up, it can get pretty wide there when it gets nice and slick and starts blowing off. There's a lot of room out there. It can be a lot of fun.
In your opinion, do you think that's why the Canadian drivers always did so well coming down to Fargo on the big tracks and at Alexandria and stuff, is because they have a big track to run on?
Yeah, I would say it for sure helped, especially back years ago when it was the big track. I was pretty young back then, but it was pretty close to Fargo back then because there was a lot more banking in it, and it was a lot longer. So it was pretty similar, I imagine.
Now, getting back to more modern days and current technology and current racing stuff, you've been running since, if I'm correct, probably since 2000. You're on your third season?
No, this would be my sixth one. So I think it was 08, 09, somewhere around there when we started again.
Okay. Yeah, the profile I'd seen only highlighted the professional end with the karting and the and the other series, which we'll discuss here in a little bit. But you've been running fairly well. You make a weekly trip down to Fergus Falls and run in the States mostly on the weekends after running a Thursday night up in Winnipeg, and any other night that you guys are allowed to run up there. It seems like you do fairly well. Not only on the Wissota level, but with the AMOD stuff. But is there any particular highlight out of that really comes back that's worth mentioning?
I don't know. We had a pretty good year last year. It was a lot of fun. Maybe we were kind of, one of the highlights would have been just a points race up here last year. We had a break right in the middle of the year, and we fell way back on points, and pretty much thought, I thought we were about done. Everybody else said we just keep going, you'd be all right. And then I think we came back to win like the last 6 out of 9 or something, and the last weekend was a doubleheader. It's like a Friday Saturday deal, and I think me and Rick Delane were about tied, and it was pretty much, even after Friday, I think we pretty much tied again, and I think going into Sunday we were 1 point up or 1 point down or something. It was basically whoever went out to win it was gonna win the points deal too. So, and we ended up winning it, and so that was a pretty cool thing. And then a few years back we won a feature in Jamestown and Fergus, and I was racing down there with those guys and pulling one off was pretty cool. It's like a top 10 in national points. It seems like going down there all the time with those guys. It's pretty good. So I like going to those places. It's a lot of fun.
And you get, of course, I'm sure you've heard the nickname of the Canadian invasion every time that somebody walks into I-94 Speedway and can crush the sour, the sour link, if that's what we want to call it, because of the number of races that Travis Sowers won down there. Is people starting to equalize that track out all of a sudden, or is there still pretty much a challenge on getting by? You got to get by Travis in order to get that podium.
Yeah, it's a tough place. I mean, last year we weren't all that great there last year, really. But I like racing Travis. He's a buddy of mine, and we've always had a good time. He came up to Morden for the Corn and Apple Fair up here for a 2-day show they had ALH Speedway this year, or I guess last year, and we had a blast there, and it was a lot of fun. It's a little short track with a huge bank, and he had a blast there. So it was a lot of fun racing with him. It's always a good time.
And of course, this last year, you kind of shortened things up a little bit at the end of the season, reset yourself, and went down and played in Arizona and did fairly well.
Yeah, it was all right. We didn't wreck anything, so that was a bonus. I just kind of go down for a holiday and a race, and we don't stress too much about it. It's more for fun, and we kind of struggled the first half the shows, and we're just messing with stuff, and then kind of went back to what we knew, and we were okay. We ran around the, I think, top 15 or something there. The last 3-4 nights got taken out a couple times, and whatever. It's just kind of one of those, the way it goes, right? But it's always a lot of fun going down there. I like the place, and it's a lot of good people that run it and stuff like that, and we have a good time down there. It's more of a holiday, and you just kind of hope to do well. I guess once you get to the racetrack, all the competitive spirit starts flying out of everybody. So, but it was fun. We had a blast again. And
have you raced much since then, or have you been spending shop time just trying to get organized for the Wissota season?
Pretty much shop time and work time. It seems to never stop snowing here, and we do that for work. We do demolition and snow removal, and it's been a busy winter. We haven't even had much time in the shop. We just started really hustling the last 3 weeks here, and it's actually snowing right now too. But
we get it. We got it going on. This is the fifth one for us today. It wants to snow for about an hour, and then it shuts down, and snows again a little bit, and shuts down, and it's kind of playing with us. It's
I know.
I'm sure, as you understand, it's frustrating. Are we ever going to get on with spring?
Yeah, it seems like it's never ending. The only one bonus is that we're kind of behind on the the cars a little bit. So I don't think there's any rush in getting them ready for the next few weeks for all the tracks are looking around. So it buys us a little more time. So we're doing all right.
And alluding to what I was kind of hinting to, that there was a little bit more than the current stuff besides the karts and the Wissota A modifieds. You had at one time run in the Skip Barber Road course, or the sanction, for the Skip Barber Road Racing.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me a little bit about how that came about and what kind of success and how that ended up.
They did it's like a ladder to IndyCar, they call it, type thing, and they used to take 16 go-karters. They actually still do it, and they take 16 go-karters from North America, and you kind of apply, and they pick the whatever 16 they feel right or whatever, and you go to a 3-day shootout in the cars with interviews and kind of a mock press conferences and you do some mock races and time trials and whatever. Then they pick four for a free year in that Skip Barber National Series. It's kind of similar to a Formula 2000, and so we won it there the 1 year and ran that series for a year and ended up I think we ended up third or fourth in points in the championship in that and won a race. And then they take the top. They used to take the top 8 or 10 out of that to go to another shootout in the Pro Series cars, which is kind of in between like a 2000 and an Indy Light, I guess. It's kind of halfway. And, well, maybe it's close. And then they take, how did it work? There was like a first, a second, and a third prize. And we ended up winning the third prize scholarship. And so it bought us a few races. And we ended up running the 3 Molson Indies in that series and tried to pick the Canadian shows, trying to be able to wrangle in some sponsors. And it didn't pan out and turned into the money games like racing is. And that's kind of was the end of that deal, I guess you could say, but it was a lot of fun.
Ward, if you hold on for just a moment, we're up against a hard break. We'll be right back. This is Getting Dirty Live on the Midwest Racing Radio Network.
This is the Midwest Racing Radio Network.
Need energy? Try Liquid Nitro Energy drinks with 3 awesome flavors and no bull. That's right, no bad aftertaste, no crash, no bull. We checked out all the other energy drinks, and Liquid Nitro has half the sugar of the other major brands' regular energy drinks. It has a great taste and no bull. You say nobody stocks Liquid Nitro in your area? Go to nitrobeverages.com and you'll find a complete list of distributors near you. To become a distributor, contact Randy at Dirt Tracking Southern Style for more information. Liquid Nitro is absolutely the most consistent energy drink on the market today. It's Liquid Nitro Regular, Liquid Nitro Herbal, Liquid Nitro Tropical Storm, and don't forget, we also make Liquid Nitro Energy Shooters. Real energy, and again, no bull. For everything you need to know about Liquid Nitro Energy, log on to nitrobeverages.com, or you can find us at your retailer or Speedway outlet.
Extended lubricant, taking fuel performance to a new level. With the Gas Extender Plus Ethanol and Diesel Extender Plus Algae treatments, Extended has your engine covered. The Gas Extender Plus Ethanol treatment is an octane booster that also improves mileage. 1 ounce treats 5 gallons, making it a must-have for your gas-burning toys. The Diesel Extender Plus Algae treatment lubricates cylinders while cleaning and conditioning your fuel system. 1 ounce treats 10 gallons and is a great way for your fleet to maintain and save money in one easy step. Worried about your sales force having to pioneer a new product? Well, don't be, because we have a plan to drive traffic to your store. Michael Vatter's Black Stallion, Iron Warrior, and Higher Education sport the Extended decals, allowing you to penetrate this powerful market. Also, in 2013, Extended is teaming up with Pursuit Channel's 38 million viewers as they sponsor a block of high-quality outdoor programming on Dish and DirecTV. So climb on board and join the Extended team so you can offer this amazing product to your customer base today.
Just when you thought it was safe to talk racing on internet radio.
Getting Dirty Live.
He said, well, I looked at a sponsor, and I just needed somebody to help me with my tires. And I just said, you're willing to talk to somebody about putting together a package for you, and all you want is tire money? I mean, come on now. You just basically embarrassed your sponsor. The problem was, they did not want to listen to me. They were willing to give me a card, a shirt, a truck. They were willing to give me everything, but they wouldn't listen to me. So I can tell you guys this. It was like dealing with a high-maintenance blonde that I just didn't really want to deal with. I mean, she's pretty to look at, but I'll say, it ain't going to happen. You know what I mean? Because it's just not, it just didn't interest me at all.
If you think this is fun, tune in every Thursday night at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, right here on the Midwest Racing Radio Network, where we're getting dirty live.
This is the Midwest Racing Radio Network.
Welcome back to Getting Dirty Live on the Midwest Racing Radio Network. I'm Brian Douglas. Continuing our interview with Ward Imrie, the driver of the Wissota Modified number 10 out of Winnipeg, Manitoba, sponsored by Imrie Demolition. You mentioned the money game. Is that something that, has really been holding the Canadian drivers back from really seeing a lot of success in the bigger series here in the United States?
Yeah, it's pretty hard. I think everybody has a hard time finding it now. It's like even NASCAR teams are, even the Cup Series, they have a hard time finding sponsors. So I think everybody's having a hard time. But it used to be real hard back when in the years when I was trying to do it in the early 2000s and that when the dollar was like 60 cents on the dollar, it was really hard. You're paying 50% more, and so it made everything that much harder, where now at least the dollar's equaled out a bunch, so it's not as terrible. But I mean everybody's in the same boat with that sponsor stuff now, and it ain't real good for it. But that's why we're just kind of do what you can and just go out and have some fun with it now, and it makes it a lot less stressful, really.
So you would say basically even up in Canada, the sponsorship dollar's gotten a lot harder to come by. Was that an international economy thing, or is it just because you guys are that close to the United States that sponsor dollar is harder to come by?
Yeah, I mean, it was always hard. I think it's harder now, and I think it's just the economy, down there in the U.S. and up here. It's just I don't know. It just doesn't seem to be flying around as much as it once was, and I mean it never was easy to get by any means, but it's even harder now. I think it is what it is. I guess you just kind of gotta keep going along and just whatever.
Looking towards 2014, have you made any changes to the operation at all, or made any changes in plans on how you're going to run, or where you're going to race, or any special races that you want to run this year?
We got a new car in the shop. We're building up a new Victory Circle by Balkan, and another modified. So we'll bring that one out probably in a few weeks after the season starts, when the track's kind of smooth out and that. And, as far as running, we run up here in Winnipeg at Red River Co-op and on Thursdays, and we run Morden for that ALH Speedway on Sundays, and kind of do them for the points deal. And then other than that, I just kind of float around. Saturdays is kind of where we kind of go where we feel like it. Spend a lot of time in Jamestown. I really like it there. It's one of my favorite spots, and like racing with everybody there. It's good, clean racing, and the track's always real nice. So we spend a lot of time there, and we'll go to Fergus when work allows, when we can sneak away, and then try and run maybe some of the RV Tour races. I'm not sure which ones, but I just kind of float around. Nothing's ever concrete, and with work it makes it kind of hard. You never know how busy we are, so usually hit some of Chris Steppen's shows. The Mod Nationals is always on the list for sure, and so we can just kind of start the season and then let it roll and see where we end up, really.
Okay. Any sponsors you've added this year that you definitely want to mention at all?
About this, I got the same people helping me, but definitely got to mention them. Henry Demolition, Victory Circle by Balkan, K4 Equipment, Hyundai Construction Equipment, Keith Cartage, Extreme Graphics, Dynasty Bathrooms, Dirty Bodies, Probably forgetting some, but just don't have the car sitting beside me so I can cheat and make life a little easier. But I think we got most of them.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll hear about it after this airs. So
yeah, that's it, right?
That's the way that goes. As things change, coming from an international perspective, where you got the two countries closer and closer, and the stuff that happened here in the United States with 9/11, has it made coming back and forth in and out of Canada, or in and out of the United States and back to Canada, more difficult, or is it just fairly systematic now?
Yeah, now it's systematic. Pretty much, you're pretty much used to it. Us coming down when we're coming racing every week, we come through the commercial side, and we don't have a problem. But they got you plugged into the computer that you're crossing every week, so they know us and usually say hi and where are you guys going this week type deal. But if you go flying, it's a lot different than it used to be before that happened. And it's the same for everybody. And now you don't even think about it. It's just kind of the way it is, right? But
kind of like the good old days.
That's it, right? It's you think back how it used to be, and it's like, oh wow, it was a lot different, right? But it is what it is, and it's different. But now it's just a normal system, and you don't really think too much about it.
All right. We're with Ward Imrie of Winnipeg, AMOD driver on the Imrie Demolitions number 10. Ward, let's see here. We look back at your career. We look back at everything else. Looking into the future, is there any one thing, if you could change one rule in the AMODs, any one rule? And I promise I'll cover you on this one, because this one's my fault for asking it. So if Wissota comes after you, this is my fault for asking it. If you could change any one rule, what would it be?
I just like to see kind of everybody get along, so to speak. It's kind of get a set of rules across the board, like with the different motors and different body rules and this and that. It makes life a little difficult bouncing back and forth. It ain't terrible, but it's not the easiest thing. So it'd be nice to be just kind of run one thing and kind of go and do whatever you want. I know it's hard to do and probably never happen, but a guy can hope. You don't have to have all sorts of different motors in the barn and different bodies and that, and just go out and have some fun. Yeah,
we're basically if you look at it, you got the dirt car has a completely different body, completely different tire, much bigger engine. You go down to USRA, the motors are are fairly similar, but then your body package and your tires are different. And
the Wissota body actually passes pretty good. You can, like when I build the Wissota body, I just tone it back a couple things, and then when we go to USRA, it's all right. We just switch the spoiler, and it's not too bad. But you could go a lot bigger on the body if you went full USRA, right? And then there's the tire deal. It's completely different.
It's the American Racer is a good tire, but it's just getting you got to change the setup for it.
Absolutely, yeah.
And when you only run so many races a year, you don't know how many tires to buy. You don't, you're so used to buying X amount of tires for Wissota, and you know what the lifespan is of them. Now, when you go to run, you don't know what you're going to get with the USRA. Some are going to last one nights, some are going to last 3 nights. And then of course you got some that last all year, And it's one of those variables. If you could race one track that you've never raced before with the modified, where would you like to go?
That's a tough one there. I think Eldora would be one on the list for sure. I think that'd be a pretty cool deal there. You can pull the big sliders and go out and run wild there. It looks like it's a lot of fun. So that'd be definitely one on the list for sure.
And other than that, I'm going to give you a minute. Go ahead and plug your local track. Tell us, what are the big attractions of coming up to Canada and racing and watching races? With Red River Co-op and Morden and some of those others.
Yeah, a lot of good people that run it. That's both are real friendly places. That's kind of the fun part. I actually called Morden. I joke with the guys. I called Morden kind of our Sunday golf game. We kind of usually hit it on the way home from somewhere, and we don't stress too much about it. And we all go out and just have some fun and hang out. It's an afternoon deal, and so it's pretty good. They're building up their facility because they just opened, and then in Winnipeg at the Red River Co-op deal that has a real nice facility. It's built up nice, and good people that run it. There's a lot of potential there, and they keep working on it. And it was ups and downs there at the start of last year, but at the end, the last half, they get the racetrack like it was the last half of the season. They'll be getting guys up from everywhere, and especially for that Aldo Lane Memorial race. We got a 2-day deal this year, and Thursday, Friday, and decent payout, and Friday night's a good payout. And if they keep the track slick and smooth and wide, and racing was real good. So if they can, hopefully they keep it up, and I think they will. And we'll start getting some more travelers and getting the classes built up, and should be pretty good. I think we had 24 for the Delane race last year, and hopefully we can get 30 or something this year and get a few more boys up here and have some fun.
And I'm going to let you be the ambassador for your country here, and who else can we expect to see to come down from Canada down here to the United States on a fairly frequent basis?
Well, Mike Balkan, of course, Kennedy's. Jerome Gio and Jerome got into the AMOD a season and a half ago. Last year he got a new victory car, and me and him traveled a lot together, and his brother Eric runs too, and we travel around quite a bit, and it's always a blast with those guys. And Ryan Kerlick comes down a half decent amount of times, and there's actually quite a few guys. I'm forgetting more for sure, but Danny Staff makes it down some. Rick Delane makes it down, especially to Greenbush, quite a bit. Late model guys, kind of the usual crew there. And I think Ricky's down there running pretty much all the deals. The Lucas thing, I don't know what his full plans are. And Edgington runs down there lots, and there's a whole bunch of guys. Bill Mooney is in Grand Forks every Friday. And so there's a lot of guys crossing the border every Friday night usually.
All right. The one thing I was going to ask you, and who would you consider, of course we mentioned Travis Sauer, who would you consider your 5 closest, competition as far as the guys that you normally want to beat every week but are right there with you?
Up here it's close. Down there I'm just happy with top 5s down there. Really, usually where we go, everybody's so close these days, and it's tough. And up here there's about 5 guys, 5, 6 this year. Probably there's a bunch of guys with cars this year. There probably could be 6, 7 guys up here could win every night. So it's a long list of names from at every track, but kind of tough to single out some, and might as well throw my buddy Stearns and Grimes under the bus. I always like trying to beat them, but they usually get me. But yeah, it's just I just like going down there and racing with those guys. Like Jamestown and Fergus, where we go the most, and the level of guys there now, it's like a top 10 ain't terrible all of a sudden. Everybody's just so fast. It's pretty crazy. It makes for a lot of fun. It's tough. It's a good class. Everybody's on their game.
And that's and you look at that, and so we look to see some great things from your ward in the year 2014 coming up. What are your core tracks that you plan on pretty much being a regular at, more than just the specials? Is your last question of the evening.
Okay. Usually we hit Jamestown a fair amount, especially at the start of the year when like up here is not open yet. So usually they get there. It's usually smooth and nice there, which is in a reasonable amount of driving time for us. We usually hit there quite a bit. Fergus when we can. Friday sometimes gets tough for me. We usually spend a few Saturdays at Greenbush and some of the specials and that, and usually trying to make emo a couple times. And then I don't know, we just bounce around. I got to get to Granite City there this year and keep telling Chris I was coming, and then we never made it. The forecast always looked too bad, and a little bit of a hike out there, but we're going to tour around a little bit when we get a chance and maybe try and get to a couple new places and kind of wake up on a Saturday morning and flip a coin somewhere sitting in Fargo maybe or something, and flip a coin and see which way we go.
Okay, well, I got one bonus question I've been meaning to ask, and I had forgotten, and it popped back in my head when you mentioned it. Coming from Canada, I know you've been to River Cities a few times in your career. Tell me the story about Little Canada.
Oh, yeah, it's always a good time there. That's Big E and Dave Miller and Edgington and Norm Manis and everybody. Oh, yeah, there's all sorts of guys parked there, and it usually wreaks havoc throughout the night. It's usually good, lots of good food and good times, and it's always a lot of fun, especially at the specials. It's always a good spread there. It's a really good time, and the sights deal, and what else is there? All the outlaw shows, and they got so many big races at Grand Forks that they're there quite a bit. Well, they're there every Friday, so whether or not everybody else is or not, it don't really matter. You just stop in if you're there.
Well, as you know, Little Canada started out as 7 travel trailers and 2 toters, and now it's almost by the time the sites race comes around, there's 150 campers out there.
Oh yeah, it's wild. That's the one weekend. Usually this year we actually snuck off and went to the corn cob race and went racing. Usually we even take that weekend off, and we don't even go racing. We just end up and watching the sites race and hanging out and having some fun. It's an awesome show, and I don't know what we're going to do this year. We'll play it by ear, but might do the same.
Well, Ward Imrie, driver of the number 10 car, sponsored by Imrie Demolition, A-Mod Wissota car from Winnipeg, Manitoba. Thank you, Ward. I appreciate this last segment with you, and we wish you good luck this year.
Hey, thanks a lot, Brian. It was a good time.
Thank you much. Well, that should just about do it. A couple of things to mention. World of Outlaws race this weekend on Dirt Vision, continuing the last leg of the Western Swing, and you'll catch that live on dirtvision.com, as well as other things happening. The B-Mod Nationals, the Liquid Nitro B-Mod Nationals, have been rescheduled for the 10th, 11th, and 12th of April. That's this coming week. You can check that out by going to springfieldraceway.com, or you can get a hold of Jerry Hoffman at springfieldraceway.com for more information. I do not know if they've extended the registration window for B-Mods, but that's a $6,600 to win event, and a very, very big payday if you're a B-Mod racer. A couple other things. Keep your eyes open. A couple of tracks across the country are delaying openings due to recent snowfall in Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa, Minnesota, North Dakota. So a lot of those races are being pushed back. Keep an eye out for that. And other things like that. We especially want to thank David Gravel and also Ward Imrie for joining us on the show this week. For all our sponsors here on the Midwest Racing Radio Network, my crew, and my marketing staff, I want to thank you very much and take the opportunity to invite you into the next show, where we will have Greg Perrin from the Upper Midwest Sprint Series with us. He'll spend the whole hour with us right here on Getting Dirty Live on the Midwest Racing Radio Network. And that'll about do it for us. I'm Brian Douglas. Thank you so long. We'll see you at the next show.
taking fuel performance to a new level. With the Gas Extender Plus Ethanol and Diesel Extender Plus Algae treatment, Extended has your engine covered. The Gas Extender Plus Ethanol treatment is an octane booster that also improves mileage. 1 ounce treats 5 gallons, making it a must-have for your gas-burning toys. The Diesel Extender Plus Algae treatment lubricates cylinders while cleaning and conditioning your fuel system. 1 ounce treats 10 gallons is a great way for your fleet to maintain and save money in one easy step. Worried about your sales force having to pioneer a new product? Well, don't be, because we have a plan to drive traffic to your store. Michael Vatter's Black Stallion, Iron Warrior, and Higher Education sport the Extended decals, allowing you to penetrate this powerful market. Also, in 2013, Extended is teaming up with Pursuit Channel's 38 million viewers as they sponsor a block of high-quality outdoor programming on Dish and DirecTV. So climb on board and join the Extended team so you can offer this amazing product to your customer base today.
This is the Midwest Racing Radio Network.